welcome to the second episode of Facebook Live for Beyond the Ring. Brian, it's a big day.
It is a big day. Hello, 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 people.
Well, before we get started, I think it's only appropriate that we do have a big announcement tonight.
And it's not aliens, other than Dale wants it to be, but it's not.
And it's not about the show tomorrow in Andrews that we're sorting. It is something different. I do want to take just a moment to take a pause, maybe even about what's going on in our troops that we've lost and others in Afghanistan. I have not been in a news cycle today, so I don't know what the latest update is. But as all of you know, it's not good, and we can only hope somehow that we can get all those American citizens and those that have helped us back out of there and into safe hands. And I worry, very worried about it.
And our hearts and prayers go out to all of those that have loved ones over there and to the lives lost of the military personnel, to their families. We can't thank them enough for their sacrifice.
Absolutely, Ryan, and it's hard for us to even put the perspective on it that we're here doing what we do every day, and it's because of those people that allow us to do that. So thank you to all of you involved, the troops, everyone involved, on keeping this country safe and allowing us to go and do other things. Literally, everything that we do is because of that. So thank you for that. On a lighter note, we are in Midland, Texas. Ryan and I have a show to judge together in Andrews this weekend, so it was convenient to do our Facebook Live and break out the big announcement. And when you ask me what the big announcement is, I could tell you about the discovery of aliens. I could talk to you about I may be a little off tonight.
He wants this to become a Biden-bashing, alien-saving-us tirade, but that is not what this is about.
No, we're going to leave that alone. Now, if I'm a little off tonight, there's a reason. If I look down here to Ryan's arm, there's a gorilla on his arm looking at me.
Dale is not a fan of my shirt.
No,
so.
I like the shirt. It's just the gorilla.
He only likes it because Sheree bought it for me. But the gorilla is staring at him, and it's bothering him greatly. He's mentioned it at least 15 times.
With that, Ryan, are you ready?
Yes, I am. So, when Dale came to me at the Arizona National in 2019 about having a podcast, I told him that it sounded like a great idea, and I was all for having a platform to help improve and involve the junior livestock show industry. But I told him if it was successful, it had to be more than just a podcast. Now, he didn't really like that part of it, but, and it has been successful, and it's thanks to all of you that are watching this live, listening to us every week, bring us into your homes. We have consistently been in the top 200 of the educational division of podcasts, and we don't say thank you enough for listening to us, but we really do appreciate it. And it is because of that success I have convinced my cohort in crime here to let me launch the first big idea for Beyond the Ring to be more than a podcast.
And in all honesty, this is brilliant. I mean, this is something that surprises me. It hasn't been done a long time ago.
I would agree.
Ryan, this was 100% Ryan. He ran it by me, and I didn't object to it, but I had nothing to do with coming up with this.
So, what we are doing is we are going to have, for the first time ever, a nationwide junior livestock association. And it is called the Beyond the Ring Junior Livestock Association. And there's a lot that's go on to it, and we're going to try to explain it. But first and foremost, we want you to know that this is different than any other points or series association that you've probably ever been involved with. And I've been involved with a multitude of them, and so I know that it's different, and we're looking forward to it. And the basis of it being different is we wanted every single kid, whether they have 1 or they have 11 on feed, to be able to have a chance to be recognized and be competitive in our association. And as we get into this, into the nuts and bolts of it, you'll understand and see how. The big things is that we have a Facebook page that is launched. We have a website. It's btrjla.com. And we will start taking memberships on October 1 of this year for this association that will begin on January 1st of 2022.
And I think, Ryan, and he'll go through it more with you, but when he explain the concept to us and gonna try to get every single kid. It doesn't matter if you live on the East Coast, the West Coast, Alaska, Hawaii, it doesn't matter where you're at. In theory, the way Ryan has set this up, or in practicality, you can be involved and it can be, I think, a really good thing. I wanna add to this that we're not trying to push aside any of the local circuits or any of those things that are already going. We wanna add to it. And I think Ryan has a plan that's gonna allow that to happen. And he'll talk about how this goes from the state level to the regional level to the national level. And it's interesting. It's well thought out. I think it's simple, it's clean. I'm excited, Ryan, that it's something that can be implemented and I think is gonna give a lot of youth a chance to get more recognition.
And we know that there are series in different states. We know that there are statewide associations in different states. And my mother owns the Texas Junior Livestock Association. So we're not trying to push anybody out. We want to be inclusive, not exclusive, but we want to give another outlet and another opportunity for every kid in the United States to compete, because there are some states that don't have anything like that. And so again, we started taking memberships October 1, and it's $50 to be a member. And first off, it's gonna be cattle, sheep, goats, and pigs. Not breeding or market separated, but so if you wanna be a member of all 4 of those species, it would be $200. Or if you wanna be a member of 2, it's $100, etc. So January 1, we're gonna start the point share, and it's gonna go through December 31, so a full calendar year. How the points are gonna work, and there are 3 different components to this. There's a national award system, there's a regional award system, and in some cases, there will be a statewide award system. But let's just start at the national. And again, I'm gonna forget to say things throughout this and add things, but if you'll go to our website, you go to our Facebook, we have an email, it's btrjla@gmail.com. There's a phone number, you can contact us with questions, and that's why we're getting this out at the end of August, so we can get all those questions answered for you before you can sign up in October 1, so you can sign up and join with confidence and excitement and be ready on January 1. On the national point system, I don't care if you live in Texas and you go to a show in New York, you can still get points for your state, you can get points for the regional, and you can get points for the national. So you don't have to show within your region, you don't have to show within your state. Wherever you go, you will get points for all 3 different sets of awards. And so that's something important to know from the start. On the National Association, we have 4 age groups. Novice, which is 9 and under, junior, which is 10 to 13, intermediate, 14 to 17, and senior, 18 to 21. How you determine your age is how old you are on January 1 of 2022 will determine what age bracket you are in. And those are the 4, and those 4 age divisions are gonna be the same in all of the species, regardless of participation level, whether it's state, region, or national. On the national side of it, we will award a top 10 in goats, lambs, pigs, and cattle in all 4 of those age divisions at the end of the year. We will also award a top 10 overall in all 4 of the species: goats, lambs, cattle, pigs. And then, on top of that, there is a high point all around. So if you are a kid that shows lambs and goats, your points from both of those species will go into the all-around exhibitor, and we'll give a top 10 for that. Before I explain to you how the points work and how the system works, because that's really important, and you'll see how we're trying to be, again, inclusive, not exclusive, I just want to say a couple of things. First off, if you make it in the top 10 of goats, pigs, cattle, sheep, overall, then you're gonna get a jacket. What kind of jacket? We're gonna let you decide. If you want a Letterman jacket, a puffer jacket, a North Face type jacket, we're gonna let the membership decide that. But you have the opportunity to be one of 40 kids in the nation that can sport a BTR JLA top 10 jacket around at stock shows the very next year. That's pretty cool to be one of 40 in the nation.
In the nation. I would wear that jacket, even if it wasn't black.
Even if it wasn't black. If you are the winner in one of those 4 species, we are very excited to announce that Jared Schliff of Jared Schliff Designs is going to create for the overall winner in the nationwide point standings a Jared Schliff design statue. You send in the picture of the animal that you want, and he is going to make that for you and ship it to your house. I don't know if you have ever seen those, but they are truly works of art. They are not cheap, but we are very, very excited to offer that to our 4 outstanding point getters in the 4 different species. And I don't even have one of those.
I purchased one early on from Jared for my daughter's champion steer at State Fair.
Really?
And the Lincoln steer. And Jared, if you're watching, you were good then, but your carvings are great now. I would like you to redo that one just because of how you've advanced. But in all seriousness, if you haven't seen these carvings that Jared has in person, they're incredible. And he continues to put more and more detail into them. You get to see his pictures on Instagram and Facebook, but it doesn't do it justice. That'll be pretty special for someone to have.
And then we're going to do some really cool things for the High Point all-around top 10. I will tell you that we do have an official buckle provider for Beyond the Ring Junior Livestock Association. It is second to none. Blake Howe and his famous dog Buckles are going to be our official buckle provider. He is going to work with us, and so regardless of what level of competition, every winner in a point standing will get a belt buckle, regardless whether it's region, state, age division, overall. That's going to be a prize for every single high point getter in the various different areas of competition, and we are very excited to work with him. And again, we have ideas of all the awards that we want to give. We also want to hear from some of y'all on what y'all want, what y'all appreciate the most, because again, we want this to be what the kids want. And so, but those are just some of the highlights that we know that we're giving right now. We're going to give out 40 jackets. We're going to give out belt buckles. We're going to give out Jared Schliff statues. And so those are all pretty cool things. And we are excited about that. So how does the point system work? Again, it does not matter where you live. Anywhere you go to a show, you can get points. If you show 3 head at that show, it doesn't matter. You're only going to get points on your top point getting animal. So you can show 1, you can show 11, it does not matter. You're only going to get points on the top animal. And you can go to 100 sanctioned shows. You can only count points on the top 10. And we did that because, again, regardless of where you live or how much you go, we wanted everyone to feel like that they could make a difference in this, they could be competitive, because your county fair can be sanctioned, and we'll get more into that. The state fair, national shows, jackpot shows, series, all of those things are there. And I don't know many kids that don't go to 10 shows a year and at least have 1 animal. And so that's how we came up with that was going to be our philosophy on that.
And when Ryan first brought the 10 shows to me, I thought at first that was even a little bit high. And he said, well, you say you don't go to very many shows, or our family doesn't. And we don't. We focus on the national shows more than maybe going to jackpots. But we sat down and went through the list, and I think that's a realistic number. And I think when you see how Ryan has the regions broken down, and again, you don't even have to stay within your region, but I think it's going to all make sense. And I do believe you're going to be able to find 10 shows without too much difficulty.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem at all. But again, we don't want to say you. I mean, yeah, 10 is the max you can get for points, but you can go to as many shows as you want to. You can show as many.
Your top 10 points for each show are going to be included. So the more you go to,
so the more you go, you improve your score. And then with only counting 1 animal and only counting 10 shows, we know there's going to be ties. And that's just part of it. And so the way the ties are going to be broken is all of the points that you accumulate throughout the year. only your top 10 are going to go to the standings, but all of the points from all of the animals in the shows, that number will break the ties if they are them.
So Ryan, for clarification, if one of my children goes to 20 shows that are sanctioned, all 20 shows count for the tiebreaker.
For the tiebreaker, yes.
And if somebody else only went to 10, they're probably in trouble.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
And just like, say you only went to 10, but you showed 5 head at each still, that you're going to be a better off showing 5 head at each show than the one guy that went to, 20 and only showed 1. So there is incentive for more participation, but it's also limited to the fact in terms of tiebreakers because we want everyone to have an equal opportunity to succeed.
I love it. That is good.
And
really
so
good.
that is how the national part of the association is going to be structured. Before we move into the regions, I want to tell you how you're going to get your points at these top 10 shows you go to. Regardless of class size doesn't matter. If you're first, you're going to get 20 points. If you're second, you're going to get 18. If you're third, you're going to get 16. Fourth, all the way down to 10. And then, so it goes from 20 to 2, first through 10th, in terms of points. If you are 11th or lower, because sometimes there'll be more than 11, or if you were in a hog show where they only pinned 5 and sent the rest of them back, everybody that is on the sheet, even if you don't get a place, gets a point. So we don't want you to think that you went to the show, your hog didn't make the cut, your sheep didn't make the cut, and it was a waste. You still get 1 point, as long as your name is listed on the class results when they send them in to us.
But if that show only places 5, we're
Right.
going through 5, then 6, 7, 8, all going to be the same.
Right.
So
It's
we're
all
gonna
the
try
same.
to adapt. It's impossible for us to put a outline out there that all the shows have to follow.
Because every show has different rules. And so we can't say to be sanctioned by us, you have to follow by these rules. That goes against the inclusive part. So we just have to accept this is how this works, and you have to know how this works. That's why class size isn't going to matter. Because, again, if there's 1 or 100 out there, you're still going to get the same points regardless of your place. You can go to another one, try to improve your score, etc. If you are a breed or division champion, because like sometimes in pigs and goats, they only do weight divisions. Most of the cattle shows have breed champions. If you're a breeder or division champion, you're going to get 10 points for being the breed champion. And you're going to get 5 points for being reserve, if I remember correctly. I'm hoping that's right. I've got to pull up my little thing here and make sure.
So Ryan, if we're going to get our class points, we'll get our division or breed points, and let's say we end up grand champion, we could accumulate quite a few points at one show.
If you are the grand overall at a show or the reserve overall at a show, grand overall gets 20 points, reserve overall gets 15 points. Again, we know a lot of shows give top 5, but a lot of them don't. But almost every show names a grand and reserve grand champion. That's why we're just highlighting those two. And so while we want this to everybody to have a chance, and we do, if you even have one on feed, but we also want to make sure that the kids that do achieve success are recognized for it. And that's why we're giving points for breed champions and grand and reserve overall.
So all of that adds together. We're not
For
just,
the right.
We just don't. If you're grand champion, it's not just 20 points.
No.
It goes all the way
If
down.
you're grand champion at the show, you're going to get 20 for winning your class, 10 for winning your breeder division, and another 20 for winning the show. So a total of 50 points would be your max at a show. And so technically, other than majors, which we'll get into, the highest you could ever get would be 500 points at your 10. We're going to talk to the majors, make sure that they're on board, but the national shows that everybody can attend, major-wise, and basically we would be talking about Louisville, Congress, Denver, Kansas City, because we know Oklahoma has OYE and we know Texas has major shows, but not everybody in the nation can go to them.
Only the shows that it's nationwide
Right, that
inclusive.
everybody in the nation can go. We would like to double those points.
Yep.
And
Arizona
so,
National, there's quite a few shows that we'll have listed on there that the qualification for it is basically a national
right,
show.
you have everybody in the
that
nation has
everybody's
to be
allowed.
able to be in it. Because again, we're doing the inclusive thing. So major shows will count as double points. And so again, That is, if you go to a major and you do well, you deserve extra points because it's more competitive there and it's tougher. And
And I think that's gonna help eliminate as many ties.
oh yeah, I agree. And so again, I know this is a lot of information to digest, but it's all the bylaws, the point chart, the region chart that we're fixing to get into. All of this will be on our website. It's up. It's live right now. Our Facebook is live right now. We'll be adding information throughout the next month, but that's how the national system is going to work. Regions. So we fought and fought and fought over how to do this on a regional level.
And I'm not sure if we still got it perfect, but it's pretty darn good.
I don't know if you could ever get it perfect. To be real honest, I'm scrolling down here so I can read this stuff
And
out.
while Ryan's going through that, in the development of the regions, and Ryan brought it to me, and I'm the reason we keep changing it, because I continue to second guess things. But there are only a couple states in one of the regions, I should say, and there's several states in others. Not only geographically, but what we tried to do is wrap our head around how many shows. For example, in Illinois, we don't have near as many shows as they're gonna have in Texas and Oklahoma on a weekend or a jackpot level. So we've expanded the Illinois, all the I states up into Minnesota. But you'll see that we did our best to try to regionalize by number of shows we thought would be in that region, because it does make it in a similar geographic region that's easier to get to. But again, you could live in the state of Washington, come to a jackpot in Texas, and you get points for it if it's a sanctioned show.
Right.
So the region is just separating you for those you compete against within that region, and that's it.
Right, and the whole purpose of a regional point system is a lot of people go to different states to show. But, driving distances and stuff like that, we wanted to keep it geographical. And again, it's just another outlet for you to achieve success. So
More recognition.
right. So here's the map. And again, this is on our Facebook. This is on our website. But I'm just going to hold it up here. We have 6 different regions. And I'm just going to read the regions out to you. Region 1 is Arizona, California, Nevada, New Mexico, Idaho, Oregon, Utah, and Washington. Region 2 is Kansas, Nebraska, North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, and Colorado. Region 3 is Oklahoma and Texas. And before we go any further,
Don't you put it on me.
this was all Dale.
Remember that girl is still staring at me.
I don't care about the gorilla staring at you. The reason that we sectioned Oklahoma and Texas off is just they have shows every single weekend, and we didn't know any other way to make it fair in terms of they just have more access to shows. So that's why they're by themselves. And so I know that looks odd, and people are going to go, oh, y'all are just feeding into the thing that Texas and Oklahoma are superior to everybody else. That is not it.
No, and this was me. Ryan had a couple more states originally into there, and I reeled it back, and I just think it's on a more even playing field, the way we have it set up. And I'm not saying that the shows in Texas are any more difficult than anywhere else. There's just more of them, or the shows in Oklahoma.
Right. No, and he is right on that. That's why I caved. Region 4, Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee. Region 5, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri, Ohio, and Washington. And finally, Region 6, Alaska, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Vermont, Virginia, and West Virginia. Again, I've read them off. You can see the map here. I don't know if I can prop it up there. Maybe that will work. But it's all on our social media and our website. And so those are the regions, the geographical regions. Again, I want to reiterate that it doesn't matter where you go to a BTR JLA show, you're going to get region points whether it's in your region or not.
And that's exciting. Everybody gets to compete against their own state a lot of times at the local level, but also at your state fairs. All of a sudden now you've got a exhibitor in Ohio competing against that exhibitor in Iowa or Illinois or whatever region you're in, and that's kind of exciting. A lot of these kids that show nationally, and showing the jackpot circuits. They know each other and don't necessarily get a chance to compete in a point circuit because they're usually state bound, I should say, or regionally located within the individual states. Some cross boundaries, but this is going to open the whole thing up, guys, and we're going to do as much as we can to give as much recognition, not only through awards. We're going to talk about it on the podcast on a regular basis, and we're going to try to get some of those kids on, and hopefully we can make this even more of a lifelong memory for these kids. And we have to do things like this, guys. I don't want to get off on another topic, but this is important. What we're doing right now, in my opinion, with these kids and how we're educating them on to be respectful of the flag, work ethic, not entitlement, but rather taking personal responsibility, all of those things that we all know stock shows are doing, we've got to continue to recognize it more. We've got to promote it more. We have to do everything we can to make this industry not only survive, but we need to thrive. This is where the kids need to be.
Amen. So on the regions, the award system are going to be based on number of members. And before everybody freaks out, so we're going to start taking memberships October 1. The membership deadline cutoff will not be till September 1 of next year.
Right? That's a little confusing.
Why is that confusing?
We already start the season January 1.
Right. But we start January 1. We want to give people all the time in the world to sign up. There will be people that sign up in August.
And some show seasons don't start until June. You can sign up anytime.
Right.
But you need to be signed up
to get points.
If you went to a show in January and signed up in June,
you don't get the points for the January show.
Right.
But the reason I want the September 1 cutoff to decide the awards, we want to give the most amount of time for there to become as many members in every single region so the awards can increase. And so regions, on the region award system, regions with less than 250 members in the whole entire region, we're not talking 250 goats, cattle, whatever, 250 total members. Regions with less than 250 total members, we're going to give a top 10 in the 4 species: cattle, lamb, swine, goat. If your region has between 251 and 500 members, we're going to give a top 10 combined in the age division. So novice and junior, we're going to get a top 10 in the 4 species. Intermediate and senior are going to be combined, and they're going to get a top 10 in those 4 species. So if you get over 251 members in your region, you've doubled the amount of awards that we're going to give out. If your region has over 500 members, it'll be just like the national award system. All 4 species, top 10 in all 4 age divisions. So what that tells me, or how I designed this, is you got to get out there in your region and say, hey guys, if we're at this number, and we will try to do our best to say, hey, this region is close to being at 251, sign up through social media and stuff like that. Spread word of mouth, share, get other people involved, because again, you're only helping yourself. I'm not asking you to make them do it, but if you can get them excited and enthusiastic about it, the more you can get within your region, the more awards that we're going to give. Also, before we move on to that, we are also going to have sponsorship opportunities. And if we can get an entire region sponsored, we're going to give them anyway. We want to give as much as we can, but we also understand what this costs and what we're doing, and it's the first year. And so hopefully the response will be so great we don't have to worry about any of this. But we wanted to be cautious on our announcement because he's really, really tight, people. I don't know if y'all know this, but he is the most tight.
I don't like a business to not survive.
He's
we
got
need this to survive.
He's got a motocross track that he tries to kill himself
Thank
on,
you, Ryan.
and
Thank
like
you.
4 children to feed and a kangaroo. He has a lot going on here.
A lot of expenses.
A lot of expenses. So, but
and I have a gorilla staring at me.
And a gorilla staring at you, yes. But so again, if somebody says, "Hey, you know what? Region 6, I want to sponsor the goats for all divisions in Region 6," we're going to do that. So we want things like that to happen. We would rather have sponsors and that many members, because then we can even give more amazing awards.
I mean,
And-
even if there is 0 sponsors, we're going to make this fly, hopefully,
right.
without it.
There's going to be a regional awards program regardless if there's 2 members in that region. We're going to give, like I said, top 10 in those 4 things.
And the more sponsors, the more we're going to get back.
Right.
The
And-
more we can get in, the more we can
Right.
do.
And
that.
again, but that's how the regional award program, the point system is the same for all. It's the top 10, 1 animal, top 10 shows. So that's consistent all the way through. The points chart is the same all the way through. So that's how we're doing on the regions. Again, all I can tell you for awards is what we're going to give out depending on the number, and the winner in each of those divisions will receive a second to none belt buckle. And again, I'm really, really jaded because Texas gives a lot of belt buckles. You go to all these other states and they don't. Yeah. So we thought it was really important to make sure that belt buckles were the top prize for every single division and point standings that we have. So that leaves us the state awards program. And again, I want to reiterate to everyone that has a series, everyone, I mean, I had to explain this to my mother, people. She's had the Texas Junior Livestock Association for over 40 years. So this was not an easy sell. We don't want to run anybody out. And that's why our point system is so different. But we want to give kids another opportunity to succeed. And so how we're going to do it, points are the same, top 10 same. If your state has under 100 members, unfortunately, unless there's a sponsor, we're not going to be able to have a state awards program. Because think about it, that would be 50 different states. So if you don't have 100 members in your state, you're not going to have an awards program this year unless we can get somebody to sponsor Alaska. And then we'll be more than happy to do it. Absolutely. So anybody knows like a caribou distributor or something out there in Alaska, fur coat manufacturer, tell them to call me. Hey, how you doing? Next.
And again, that's across species, not
right.
just one species.
Yeah, you don't have to have 100 goats. You have to have 100 of all of them. States with 101 to 250 members, we're going to give a top 10 in cattle, pigs, goats, and lambs. And so that's 101 to 250. States with 251 to 500 members, we're going to do the combined thing again. Novice and junior, top 10 in all 4 species. Intermediate and senior, top 10 in all 4 species. And again, states over 500, you get the whole thing. All 4 age divisions, top 10. And that is how the state's going to work. Literally, my phone, I get my text messages on my computer. I've had 15 saying, tell us how to sponsor already. So, I mean, I can see that coming through on my computer.
So it's hopeful that most of the states will be sponsored,
Right.
regardless if we get the number or not.
Right. I mean, it's obvious that we're not doing this to make money because I can tell you, I knew going into this because my mother's had the TJLA for 40-something years that this is not a money-making project. We are a non-for-profit corporation, but we just got to get grounded and get going this very first year. So,
well, we're okay. We can push it. Boxel's now sponsoring the podcast, so we can just throw the bills
to him,
to Boxel.
Oh, I'm all about that.
Yeah, I think
that's a great idea. Yeah. Oh yeah, great.
We're good. We may have everything sponsored by the end of the night. Right?
Exactly. So here's the big question: what shows are going to be sanctioned? That's again why we're starting this in August, because we want the shows to come to us, to contact us, etc. We're going to make a commitment here tonight, right now, live. And Dale has agreed to it.
And it may be painful.
And it may be painful. But your county fair and your state fair, they're going to be sanctioned for free. That's 2 shows that almost every single exhibitor goes to. We're going to make that happen for free. Now, what we're going to need from y'all is not so much on the state fair level. We can probably handle a lot of that. But county fair level, you're going to have to print off the sanctioning form. You're going to have to fill it out. give us the right contact people so we can get the results, make sure they're willing to send us the results, etc. But county fairs and state fairs, right now we're going to say that they're free. And that's the same for major shows.
Absolutely. And just to go back and reiterate what Ryan said, remember we did the county fair mentality episode? Every county fair is different, and we get that. So they do not have to change anything they're doing. We simply need the results reported into us, filled out on the proper paperwork. It's not complicated.
I mean,
So
we'll take the
very
results
little-
in any form
Yes.
that they have them. They don't have to be in a certain way or a certain format. However, your county fair, if it's just written on a piece of paper and they'll, Xerox those results off with the placings right on there and mail them to us or email them to us, that's all we're gonna need. But we're making the commitment to our future members right now, because I know almost every kid goes to their county fair and their state fair. We're going to get you 2 sanctioned shows for free as long as you can get us the results. If you are a statewide circuit, if you are a regional circuit, or you have a show series, there's so many show series throughout Ohio, Texas. I mean, Texas has show series within the TJLA. Contact us. We want to work with you. We want you to be on board. We do have a sanctioning fee, but we're not going to make it 100%, because the more shows that we can get this first year, we're willing to work with you so we can get these kids more opportunity to show. So, California Junior Livestock Association, if you're out there,
Heidi, are you listening?
yeah, Heidi, call us. We
Yes.
want every single one of your shows. We will work with y'all. We will work with anybody.
What we would like to do, we'll use Heidi as an example, and I know she'll reach out and touch base with us, because most of the people that are sponsoring these circuits, they want the same thing we're doing. Let's join forces and just make it better.
Right.
We by no means are going to try to change anything that you're doing
Not one thing.
whatsoever. And I want it to be separate, because there's 2 avenues of recognition for the kids. We want to simply jump aboard and use.
We just want to be able to say, you know what, Heidi? All those results come to you. Just ship them to us too, and then we can just get out and announce that every California Junior Livestock Association show is sanctioned. Same with Tracy Beetle and the South Texas Series down there in Kingsville. That's what we want to do, and we will work with you. We will make this commitment that we will make it beyond affordable this first time around, so no matter where they are, these kids can have shows. So again, email us, call, do whatever, but that is the one thing. And for those of you listening that have kids, you know which shows you go to every year. Call that show, said, hey, my kid's a member of Beyond the Ring Junior Livestock Association. I'm coming to your show. I know X, Y, and Z is coming. We're all members. We want this to be sanctioned. That's how we're going to get it done. And so it's going to take y'all's help too. We can't do it alone. But we will work with you this first year so we can get as many of them sanctioned as possible. And I want to start hearing from people now, because I want to start adding shows to the calendar, or be able to just say, you know what? Daniel Boatwright, South Texas Series, every single one of it, put that on Facebook. Every single one of their shows next year are going to be BTRJLA sanctioned. They may not have the dates all yet for next year, but then our members will know. They're like, hey, that whole series that we go to is there. That's great.
Yep.
And so we need that in every state.
And let's hope that drives numbers up for you.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I think it can't do anything but help both of us. And so again, it's going to be free advertising for you and that show, because it's going to be on the podcast. It's going to be on our social medias. It's going to be on our website. So it's a win-win for everyone, but y'all have the associations that are established. Y'all have the shows that are established. So we've all just got to work together, not just so this can flourish, but these kids can flourish.
Absolutely, Ryan. And I think that's so important, that if you have any questions, especially if you're one of those series managers or the one that put it together, just reach out.
Yep.
And speaking of that, I may not be the most organized person in the world, and I'm not sure where Ryan is. He's probably
I am
better than
extremely organized. I am extremely busy. And so we do want to announce, because I know people are going, well, who's going to do this?
This is not going to be done by Ryan and I alone.
Right.
I promise.
And so I do want to announce, thanks mainly to Dale's badgering and persistence, that Callie Ellis is going to be the director of points and sanctioning. We are so glad that she is on board. We also have Warren Hill of The Digital Hill company. He created our brand new points program. He is going to help with entry and apps and all of these things. And I would also like to give a big shout out to Reagan Kelly McKinley for doing our website. So this just all didn't happen this last week. I have had this idea for about 4 years, and I ran it by several people.
It's been killing him wanting to bring it out.
I ran it by several people about 4 years ago, and I didn't get much response. Sounds nice. But they gave me a whole list of reasons on why this is going to happen. And so I never just let that go. And now that we have this platform and we have this audience, we want to make this more. And we want it for the kids. And again, I can't imagine when I was showing if I could walk around a show and be one of only 40 people to have that jacket. Or I could look at a Jared Sliff trophy in my room and know that I was one of 4 kids that had that year. And we're going to have great prizes. Again, we've told you what we're going to give for the numbers. We haven't given you exact awards because a lot of that we want to hear from y'all. We don't want to just say, well, this is what we know that they want, so we're going to give it. And because that's not how that works. As we say on the podcast, we think that the customer should have a voice in all of this. So we are going to put up polls on Facebook saying, what would you like as regional awards? What would you like as this? And we're going to do the best to give you everything you want. Again, some of it's going to have to be depending on how many members we have and stuff like that, because money makes the world go round, and unfortunately, but we want you to have a voice. We want you to be involved. And most importantly, we just want you to embrace this association and grow with us. And I am so excited. Like I said, this has been 4 years in the making. I can't tell you how pumped I am. Dale was not very receptive 4 years ago, but when I ran it back by him, and he had nothing to do with it then, but when I ran it back by him again, about March, he was the most excited. And so, and again, this is where we're at this year. We want to add other things. We want to grow, but this is where we're at the first year, and we are so excited to have this opportunity to go above and beyond for Stock Show Nation.
Excellent. Ryan, I appreciate you explaining it in detail. I thought I'd have more questions for you in terms of some of the technical side. Go to the website. It's there. I know we threw a lot of information at you tonight, but it's clean and is black and white in terms of simplicity as it can be. And the best part of it in my mind, the shows that are sanctioned, they don't have to change anything. We can adapt to exactly what you're doing.
Yep.
With that, I'm excited about the shows this weekend.
Yep.
Hopefully by next year they will be sanctioned.
Oh, I bet I can get that worked out.
I think they probably will.
But again, we are so pumped for this. Thank y'all for being in here and listening. Again, I know that doesn't answer every question or solve everything, but that's the nuts and bolts of it. Reach out to us and let's get excited for January 1 of 2022.
You can find us on Facebook, website, lots of different directions to get the information.
Y'all come back now, you hear?
Be safe.